All right, I am back. I am back. I am back. So I decided to shoot a video today, right? I'm not going through StreamYard or anything. I decided to shoot a video today because the guys they say you're selling wolf tickets. We think you're live and you're not live. You just doing stuff. So I said, you know what? Cut out any confusion. I'm just gonna shoot a video, right? But anyway, I got a couple of topics I want to talk about because I know when we get to the round table, you know, we have a discussion and it kind of leads somewhere else. But I actually think it's pretty good dialogue because I think it's pretty well rounded. We don't all necessarily have the same opinion, which I think actually makes it pretty good, right? But I'm gonna borrow something from my guy South Coast Kane. South Coast Kane said, look, if I do a show and I got my topics, I don't care if I have to finish the topics the next day in another video. I'm gonna finish my topics. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna be proactive. I'm gonna go ahead and get the topics out the way first. And then when we get to the round table, then, you know, we can, if we wanna kind of talk about some of the topics, because I know at least two of these particular topics I know are going to garner some pretty good dialogue at the round table when we do the round table, right? So let's get started, right? So these are the topics, right? Credit for draft picks, right? That's something that I saw today from a tweet. Well, not today because I'm actually recording this early the next day. It's like 4:55 a.m. Central Standard Time. So technically something I saw yesterday, right? X slander turns to love. JoJo Trader's recruiting prowess. Recruiting matters most to a lot of people, right? That's another a topic. So I'm gonna kind of touch on that. And again, they still shooting that jab out there. They still shooting a jab out there at TVD, and TVD's gone. It's probably 18, maybe 2,000 miles away from Miami, and they still shooting that old jab out there. He's the reason we were 7-5. Emory. But these two topics, I'm gonna go ahead and knock these out real quick because I don't want to spend too much time on it, right? So, me being me, I like to compare people against each other basically in the same context. And what I mean by that, I'm not going to compare Emory Williams to TVD last year, right? I'm not going to compare freshman, let me see. Who's a good freshman? I'm not going to compare like Jaden Rashada, right? Who had a pretty solid freshman year, you know, all things accounted for. I'm not going to compare him to Michael Penix. The Michael Penix that left the University of Washington. Why would I do something like that, right? So this kind of irks me, right? So it's like, oh man, it's a breath of fresh air to see Cam Ward out there and, you know, taking the guys out to eat and all that stuff like that. And just the general, just leadership and stuff is a breath of fresh air. Like, bro, why continue to shoot the jab out there? Why does it matter? Why does it matter? If the guy didn't do it, okay, cool, he didn't do it. Let's hope that the guy, because in many regards, this guy has to show individuals that, hey, look, I'm fully locked in with y'all. The whole NFL draft thing, that's just, you know, that was a ploy maybe to get a couple extra dollars. But I got to show y'all now that, look, I'm locked in. I'm going to work it just as hard. Okay, cool. Cool. This life. No harm, no foul with that. But again, why continue to shoot the jab out there? The man's not here anymore. Who, like, it doesn't matter. Like, no one's going to sit up here and try to convince me that what individual, because again, but this is how the roles reverse, right? And shout out to my dog, Bird. Because me and Bird was talking about this in the locker room 2 days ago. I told Bird, I said, Bird, let me tell you something that's so funny to me, right? I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but it all ties in together. I said, Bird, check this out, bro. I said, you remember when Jakari started versus Georgia Tech? You remember how people were talking about, oh, look at how he's identifying the protections and stuff like that. He's doing all this stuff and making sure we're in the right, you know, formation and checking protections, all this stuff. I said, bro, you remember that? He was like, yeah, bro, I remember that. I said, you remember that they were like, oh, well, look, Jake can't do this and TVD can't do that? And then just a year before that, Joker's really going to bat talking about, oh, well, Jake beat TVD out in practice. It's a never-ending thing with some of these people, right? TVD had Moxie as a redshirt freshman. He did. I'm not here to defend TVD. I'm only talking about TVD as a freshman because we're talking about Emory as a freshman. And if we get to sophomore year, then we can talk. If people still want to punch that bag to make you feel better, then cool. We can have that discussion. But we're talking freshman versus freshman. Now, some people may say, "Oh, well, no, he was a redshirt freshman. We want to get into semantics and stuff like that," and it's cool. It's cool because I'm going to approach it the same way. I'm gonna look at it and say, "Well, yeah, he was a redshirt freshman, but he still had to come in and learn a new offense, right? He wasn't expected to play. We got a new offensive coordinator, right? And when the trainer wheels got taken off of him, he looked good against some good defenses too. The other guy got the trainer wheels took off. Didn't look so good. But it was a team effort in that particular situation, right? So I don't get it. Why are you still taking shots at the X? No pun intended. Why are you still taking shots at the X? What do you get out of that? Continue to say, oh, well, he's the reason we went 7-5. So let me get this straight. So he had no impact on the 7 wins either, right? But because I look at it in totality. Yes, he had a bad stretch. Yeah, he did. But I'm not about to sit up here and blame you for 5 losses. Why would I do that? I blame you for 5 losses, bro. And again, I don't know why this is still a talking point, but people feel the need to talk about it. But to kind of get back to the point of it, why you don't have to compare Cam Ward and TVD, right? I think that's a subject I want to I've talked about it, but I think I want to delve a little bit more into that. But anyway, let's move on to more pertinent topics, right? Credit for draft picks, right? Now, I'm on Twitter. Well, no, I'm on the message board, right? No, I'm on both. Take it back, I'm on both. I'm on both, right? So I see a guy, I think it's from Kane Insight or something. He posts something talking about looking at the draft picks. Looking at the recruiting classes of Manny Diaz from 2019 to 2021 and how, those guys are now going into the draft and just look at them right now. Just, underperformances, right? James and, Cam based on the combine performance. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, bro, they go the other punching bag. Y'all are going to ride this into the ground like this man walked into a doggone, like he walked into FIU again. Excuse me. Y'all going to ride this into the ground. Instead of just being straight up and saying, you know what, look, the past 2 years, it wasn't talent issue. Because again, I've said this on the video before. I said it's so amazing that for the past 15, 16 some odd years, right? It's always been, okay, it's coaching. It's never been a talent. But then this guy comes here, and now all of a sudden it's not coaching, it's talent. So much so that individuals are choosing to play both sides of the street based on which opinion they feel like helps them, right? So guess what? Last year, DJ Ivey and Tyreek Stevenson get drafted. Tyreek Stevenson goes second round. DJ Ivey gets drafted in the seventh, right? What was the hashtag? A die made. Made by a die. Look at Mario and them. They developing guys, right? Look at Rivers this particular year. They developing guys, right? Okay, so you said it on one hand. But now you're talking about that the talent on the team was only good enough to be 12 and 13 over 2 years. It doesn't it doesn't make sense, right? So let me get back to both sides of the street. So both sides of the streets would have been if TVD would have played well, all those other guys, Don Chaney, all those guys, Rooster, all that, Cam James, AOT, all that. If all those guys played well, guess what the narrative would be? Look what Mario and company did. If Manny was still here, they would have never reached their potential. That's that one side of the street. That's that street over there. But conveniently, now they can go over here on this side of the street. And guess what this side of the street is? They wasn't good enough anyway. They didn't buy in. It goes from Cam is a first-team All-American safety. Oh, look what they built. Then he goes out there and look like he's gonna be dropping down draft boards. Oh well, man, he wasn't really that good to begin with. And these jokers are out here in this particular article talking about, look at the players Mario Cristobal recruited in that same span. And look at them go off to the draft, giving Dan Lanning no credit. He and his staff, no credit. I wrote down a couple examples right here, right? Alabama. I believe Mike Schuler was the head coach before Nick Saban got there. Second year at Alabama, they playing for the SEC championship, right? With the bulk, because there was no portal. There was no portal. You actually had to make the players that you were left. You have to actually get them to a point to where they play at the level that you want them to play them at. You didn't have the opportunity to say, look, 35 of y'all gotta go. No, some actual real coaching had to go on here, right? Some real coaching had to take place. So the 2008, 2009 draft, based on the logic, y'all are to tell me that Mike Schuler deserves credit for the players that were drafted at Alabama during Nick Saban's first couple of years because the bulk of that roster was Mike Schuler players. Y'all are telling me that Mike Schuler deserves credit for that. Again, look how dumb this sounds. Look how dumb this sounds, right? Let's go to another one. Florida. Urban Meyer takes over for Ron Zook. According to your logic, Ron Zook deserves credit for the guys that got drafted and the guys that helped Urban Meyer win his first national championship at Florida in 2006. Who's saying that? Nobody. Let's go to another one. Michigan. Brady Hoke. Based on the logic here, is Brady Hoke deserves credit for those players getting drafted 2 years after he had been fired. Same thing goes for Florida, same thing goes for Alabama. 2 years later, the predecessor still deserves credit. Dabo Swinney at Clemson. Terry Bowden, Tommy Bowden, whatever his name was. Are we to say that Bowden is supposed to get the credit for players drafted from Clemson 2 years after his departure? That the current staff that's in place did nothing to help elevate? Who in Athens, Georgia? Second year of Kirby Smart, they in the 14 playoff. They get to go play Alabama for the national championship. No, that was 2018. 2017 had a really good year too. Who is saying Mark Richt deserves credit for getting those players drafted? Nobody. You know why? Because this is what you're supposed to say. This is what people say. Nick Saban elevated the program. Urban Meyer elevated it. Jim Harbaugh elevated it. Dabo Swinney elevated it. Kirby Smart elevated the program. But here, It's the previous coach's fault. 2 years later, 30 some odd, 40, 50 some odd players left. It's still the previous coach's fault. Because the players he recruited just weren't good enough. And the players that the other guy left, he still deserves credit for it. And I'm sitting up here thinking to myself as I'm looking at this, I'm like, bro, don't you know it was a year that only 2 players from Oregon got drafted? And they had 6 guys that went to the Pro Bowl and a couple of more that were actually eligible to be drafted that particular year? What the heck? What are we talking about? But I understand, you know. No, you know what? No, I don't. I don't understand. I've seen some stuff being said from this first week of spring practice. I'm like, bro, this is crazy. This is crazy. Y'all are running cover. It makes even more sense why the spring game is going to be played on campus. And I jokingly said it. I said, look, if it's on campus, these jokers may ask for you to put your cell phone in the bag. No video coverage of this. Bits and pieces. It's like a movie premiere where a select group of people actually go. They can't record it. All they can go back and do is write articles. Oh, well, this happened and that happened. But don't get too detailed, right? Just say, we just go give you stats. Right, 1 quarterback went this for this, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Another quarterback went this for this. I ain't gonna put no names on it. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. Let's move on. X slander turns to love, bro. I'm gonna tell you what I heard after the season from some people I respect. Man, X should hit the transfer portal. Man, X need to go ahead and go to the draft. He can't improve on what he did. And he won't have those same numbers again. I'm sitting there thinking, what's stopping X from having the same numbers again next year? Inquiring minds would like to know. Because you can't possibly tell me that the offense is going to change, because it hasn't changed since Shannon Dawson has been a primary play caller. It has always run through the slot receiver. So we can't say it's going to change because Cam Ward is here. You can't do that. You're not going to do that. And I'm going to tell you something Coach Hayes said. He said it quite a few times, but I never fully grasped it until he said it most recently. And this is what's going on here. We are operating under a mindset that if Xavier Restrepo is here, he's going to get the bulk of the snaps at this particular position, and this is the go-to position, right? Because we are not going to sit up here and say it ain't X's fault. It's the offensive coordinator fault for not being more innovative and getting the other guys involved. Go 4 wide in the same option route Xavier Restrepo can run on one side of the field. Let the other slot receiver running on the other side of the field. And actually let the quarterback actually read and figure out who he wants to throw the ball to. I'm not going to do that. So that's what we're operating under. So Xavier Restrepo knows this. So why in the heck would I leave and I know I'm at the money position? I know I'm at the money position. Why would I go? Why not try to come back and work my way and see where my career ends in terms of this all-time career leader in catches, yards, touchdowns, however he ranks on these particular lists. Why not go for it again? Why not try to break the single season yards? Why not try to go break that? Lord knows I'm in the offense to do it. I want to go find a comparison. And the first thing that popped up in my head, and and Go Tigers brought this up, and I kind of went for a hook, line, and sinker, and then after the fact, I thought about it for a second. I said, no, this is different, right? Because he was saying, like X's are the guy Hunter Renfro. And I'm like, yeah, you right. But then I go back and I think about it. I said, no. X ain't our Hunter Renfro. X is our doggone DeAndre Hopkins. He's our Sammy Watkins, Mike Williams, Amari Rogers. That's who Xavier Restrepo is. When you look at the numbers, you look at the targets, you look at the production, that's what he is. He's not Hunter Renfro. He's not just the guy we're looking to get the ball to on third down. No, we're looking to get him the ball first, second, third. Dabo Swinney even said so. So I said, you know what? Let me go find an example that's more suitable for this, right? So I went, and you may say, okay, Shad, this example is absurd, but bear with me. So I went to go find Tavon Austin. Tavon Austin, junior year, had 101 catches, 1,186 yards, 8 touchdowns, right? Those are good enough numbers, in my opinion, maybe to where he probably could have went to the draft, but he decided to come back. So he come back for his senior year, 114 catches, 1,289 yards, 12 touchdowns. So he improved the numbers, right? I used Tavon Austin, and I could have used Tank Dell. But the reason I use them is because this is the offense that they're operating in. X is on a mission to be better. Now, I'm not going to declare that X is going to have a better season than he just had. I'm not going to say that. But I guarantee it ain't going to be too far off. And why in the world? Think about this, right? People said LT, James, and Cam, they should have come back. But X should leave. Why should X leave? X ain't a finished product. There's some things X can work on to get better. So if the 3 highly rated guys that we love for the most part, if you feel they should come back, why shouldn't X come back? Why should X just leave off of one good year? Why not X come back and see can he match or exceed or come slightly lower than those particular numbers? But I know what it is. Because I put this on Twitter. I say individuals are meat riding X while also secretly in the back of their mind hoping that JoJo or Ray Ray can take his spot. What a conundrum you have. I wouldn't want to be y'all. I wouldn't want to be y'all. It's eating some of y'all up on the inside that Xavier Restrepo is out there feasting. Right? Feasting. But, you know, it is what it is, right? So anyway, let's move on. JoJo traded recruiting prowess, right? So, I don't know what he's going by this week. He's normally Cuban Kane, then sometimes he's Hollywood Hogan. I think most recently it was like when the ish hits the fan. Somebody I don't know what he's going by, right? But I'm gonna call him Cuban. I'm being Cuban on Twitter, and the guy posted JoJo Trader is a better prospect, a much better prospect than Romello Brinson and Brashard Smith. Now, I asked the question, what are you basing this off of? Because obviously you can't be basing it off of collegiate, right? You're not basing it off of that. So you're basing it off of recruiting services, right? So this is my thought process, right? Will anyone make an argument to say that Brashard Smith, Romello Brinson, and JoJo Trader, that what they look like in high school, that JoJo looked like the far superior player? No one's going to say that. Well, you know what? Let me take that back. No one with logic is going to say that. No one with logic is going to say that. The individuals that do the whole rinse and repeat, the new toy syndrome, they'll do it. They'll do it. They'll turn around and say that because, again, someone said it today. So this is why I love Twitter. I went to Twitter, right? So I typed in Romello Brinson's name. So I'm looking at, I'm seeing Romello Brinson go to camps, making plays, mousing people. Then I see Romello Brinson put Jason Marshall in a blender, who again was a top corner, a guy that many people wanted. But now, it's not a hurricane anymore. Again, Romello Brinson made that ridiculous catch in the corner of the end zone. Ridiculous catch. Now, I don't know, again, some people that are closer to the situation than me, some things, some things transpired, whatever the situation was. But I'm not about to sit up here and let y'all praise these people 2 years ago and then turn around and try to crap on them. So let me tell you what the dude did, right? And this is how you know someone will try to go find any particular angle to feel like they won an argument or try to win an argument. They move the goalpost. So he goes and posts Romello Brinson's stats from SMU. So Cuban Kane said, okay, cool. Now go post JoJo Trader college stats. He ain't got no stats. So, again, who's going to look at those three young men's film and say that, oh, well, JoJo Trader's much better than Romello Brinson and Brashad Smith? No one's saying that. No one's saying that. I typed in Brashad Smith's name in the search engine. I mean, you know what came up? You know what play came up? It was a play out on Greentree. Brashad Smith runs a corner route, headed to the sideline. One-hand catch on the sideline going out of bounds. Tight coverage. One hand. I went again. Look. You go find stuff. So I continue to scroll down and I see some people naming some people from the class back then. Jaleel Brentley, Brashad Romello, all that good stuff like that. And someone said, oh man, every one of these guys have the potential to start day one. This is why I don't take recruiting serious. I can't do it. This man literally posted Romello Brinson's SMU stats, trying to make an argument for a guy who has no stats. All he has is practice footage and media being behind him. I guarantee you. Matter of fact, I'm not even, no. I know because I saw it. I saw the same type of praise and adulation being placed upon Romello Brinson and Brashad Smith just 2 years ago. I saw the same praise and adulation. But I realized what happens. Any of y'all watch Men in Black? You remember when they had the little thing and they put it up to your face and they put the sunglasses on? I got some sunglasses around here, but they not right here. Look. I got it right here. South Coast, you ain't the only one got tools, man. I got tools. Give me a second. I want to make this look as visual as possible, right? Hold up, give me a second. So they get the little thing, they put the glasses on, and they hit the button and they flash, and you forget everything that just happened. That's what these people do. They stand in the mirror. They don't put the sunglasses on though. They stand in the mirror and they press the thing, and they forget everything that just happened 2 years ago. They forget it. I cannot take some of these people serious, man. I can't. Because, hey, let me tell you something. Y'all remember Deontay Mullins? You remember Deontay Mullins went to the Under Armour game and Deontay Mullins made that big one-hand catch in the sideline? And I'm like, oh, man. Oh, Deontay Mullins going to be wide receiver 1. I remember that. Look. This was my notes, right? Romello was spoken about being a very integral and key part to the offense. What is that equivalent to? Oh, JoJo is gonna force himself on the field and shit. It's the same thing. It's again, like I said, I know it's different situations because I love my dog KB. I know my dog KB gonna get him right. You know, and I think probably if KB had been here, you know, when those guys are here, be having a different discussion. But, you know, it happens. But as it currently sits right now, JoJo is operating off of high school talent the same way Brashard and Romello did when they first got here. They operating off high school. They ain't been coached yet. They hadn't been coached yet. So we'll see how this looks, right? We'll see how this looks, right? And obviously at the same time, I know some people they're doing it because they have to. And again, this is no slight to JoJo, but some people are doing it because it's like, oh well, we can't make it seem like, you know, well, you know, I mean Jeremiah good, but I mean JoJo right there with him. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the lot. That's kind of what I'm getting at, right? Moving on. Recruiting seems to matter more than actual wins to some people, right? I saw somebody today say, oh man, we go 10-2, man, we lock up a number 3 class. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I said, what does a number 3 class mean in 2024? Well, this would be the 25 class. What does a top 3 class mean? What does that mean? Right? Let me go over a couple of numbers right here for a second, right? Over the last 3 years, the University of Georgia has had 46 players transfer out. That is the equivalent to two whole recruiting classes have left the program in the last 3 years. Alabama has had 48. LSU has had 43. We've had over 40 ourselves. What does a top 3 class mean? What does that mean? I see some people kind of getting a little bit more hip to some of the bigger, you know, people that do it because they're starting to ask the questions like, why do we need to go get a number 1? Why do we need to go get a receiver from the portal? What about the guys that are already here? Why do we need to go get another linebacker? What about the guys that are already here? Defensive linemen. Same thing. Well, what about the guys that are here? So, quarterback. The top 2 quarterbacks are transfers. What about the guys that are here? And you know the pushback? Oh, this is year 3, man. They got to win. Why? Why? Y'all said the man signed a 10-year deal. So why does he have to win year 3? Why? I know why, but that ain't what I'm talking about here. I'm trying to figure out why y'all so concerned with a recruiting class when it ain't even guaranteed they're gonna be here for the duration. Why does it matter? If this was 5 years ago and you said a top 3 recruiting class, I'd be like, you know what? Yeah, we need to get that. But in 2025 and moving in 2024 and moving forward, what does that matter? Like, we literally just went through the 2022 class. Now, obviously, the class, oh, well, Mario, you didn't have time, you know. Let me tell you what's funny, right? It's 2 sides of the street, BS again. One side of the street, bro, look at what Mario did in the short period of time he was here, how he was able to whip that class into shape. And then the other side of the street, oh, well, you know, that class really don't count. He ain't really had time to evaluate the guys and all this stuff like this. You know why you say that? Because some highly rated guys in that class, they're no longer here. They're no longer here. Cyrus Moss, he's not here. Jaleel Skinner, he's not here. Chris Graves, he's not here. These guys are not here. And some other guys, they're not even playing. And you sitting up here talking about a top 3 recruiting class when the 2 best programs currently in college football have lost the equivalent of 2 recruiting classes in 3 years. Are we going to be absolved from that? Are you telling me that players are gonna say, you know what, look, I'm in Miami, I don't have to play, man. I'm down, we have South Beach and all that good stuff like that. But I ain't really gotta play, man. I'm not gonna leave. I made a commitment. Kane's Connection, they signed me to a deal. I'm not going anywhere. Bull. I like you talking about top 3 recruit classes at 10-2. Which is good. But again, I go back. I can make a case for. I made a case that we could have won 10 games in 2021. I made a case. And you know what I can do? And you know what I can do to kind of do like y'all to somewhat insulate that case? I can go out there and I can say, well, man, you know, if the guys were older and this was their first year playing, man, they probably could have got over the hump against a Florida State. If TVD may have been, again, hypothetically speaking, if TVD probably had been a year older, he probably doesn't throw that red zone interception in North Carolina. If Borregales was a sophomore or a junior, he doesn't miss that kick at Virginia. Now, again, I don't play that game because you can also turn around and say, okay, well, this could have been a loss. This could have been a loss, right? But since I told the guys I'm trying to have a little crossover appeal. So let me try to appeal to some of these guys that I've pretty much slandered this entire show. But I made a case for 10 wins right there. I told South Coast Kane and Cuban Kane the other night on the Rise of the Fall. Please go check out the Rise of the Fall. I told him, I said, I can make a case for Randy Shannon 10 wins in 2008. I made a case for Al Golden having a 10-win season. Obviously, Mark Richt got a 10. Man Diaz, to be honest with you, could have had back-to-back 10-win seasons. So that's why, to me, 10 wins, 11-1, man. Show me something. Because as I've said before, I made note of some of the youth that we have and some of the inexperience that we have moving into next season. But then it hit me again when Coach Hayes brought it up. And I said to myself, you know what? No. Like Cuban Kane said, if all this talent is on the field and you got the transfer portal, it don't matter. Get them ready to play. That's what the other schools do. That's what Alabama does. That's what Georgia does. That's what LSU does. They just go, hey, look, y'all freshmen or whatever, hey, be ready to play next year. We're not about to use no excuse of, oh, well, you know, they're young, so let's give them a year to go. No, they don't do that. They don't do that. Because they're looking at it from the standpoint of, we're going to coach your ass. We're going to make sure you are ready to play when you step on the field. You're not going to look lost out there. We're not going to go get a crap ton of portal guys to make up for some misfortunes that we had. 11-1, 11-1, because some people may be grammar police, or pronunciation police. 11-1. Chuckles out here talking about recruiting classes, top 3 classes, bruh. We're losing people from the first class. And you don't think we're going to lose people from the second class moving forward? And we ain't talking about just guys that's going to the draft either. We talking about guys that's like, you know what, I'm going to go play somewhere else. I'm wasting my time over with y'all. Yeah, I'll be talking about a top 3 class. Man, I'm talking top 3 in the playoffs. How about that? Talking about top 3 of some god doggone recruiting class. And 2 teams just played for the national championship that weren't even in the top 15 in recruits. They just went and got to be honest, Michigan didn't even go get a bunch of transfers. And Washington, they just went and got Michael Penix. And it wasn't no guarantee he was going to turn out to be that. They went and coached. And I said this on one of my earlier videos. I said the transfer portal is going to separate the coaches from the recruiters. And y'all still out here talking about a doggone recruiting class when you got in excess of 40 players leaving two teams that are competing for the national championship on a yearly basis. And so you sit up here talking about like a team that is having trouble in the doggone ACC. We're going to keep these guys on the doggone roster as if teams are not tampering and saying, look, hey, you can stay down there with the money all you want to, but look at the draft. Are they really going to develop you down there? I had given Jason Taylor all this credit for Ruben Bain, when Ruben Bain already had a toolbox when he got to Miami campus. Man already had a toolbox. Man already had a toolbox when he got here. Same thing as Armando Blunt. Them boys, not Blunt, but not Blunt, because Blunt is from yeah, it is Armando Blunt. They coming to Miami with a toolbox already. You want to show me something? Put some tools in Nigel Kelly toolbox and Mesidor and Isaiah Horton and Marcus Lightfoot, Jaden Wayne. Put some tools in their toolbox. That'll show me something. Cause it's been too often we done let guys go out here and they've been letting what they learned in high school, you know, let them play. They've been making plays off of just pure athleticism and what they learned in high school. Y'all ain't taught them nothing. Y'all ain't talking about recruiting classes. Top 3. Bruh. Y'all talking top 3 like it's guaranteed that it's going to work out. But you know what? I'm through with it, bro. I didn't even want this video to last as long. I wanted my video to be just like South Coast Kane when he did his video yesterday. I think his video was about 15, 20 minutes long. It may not even been that long. I wanted to do something like that, but topics took longer than that. So just think about, I just went on them little topics. Really, I went in depth on 4 of them. 42 minutes. Now, if we do this on the round table, we're talking about a 3-4 hour show, right? And I understand people's attention span doesn't really go that long, right? And I probably should have chopped this up, but I'm not that tech savvy. With that being said, man, I'm out. 11-1 is the expectation for me. Stop giving Mario Cristobal credit for work that Dan Lanning and his staff did just because y'all still want to punch Manny Diaz. Stop secretly wishing that Xavier Restrepo does not continue to go out there and dominate. Stop falling in love with the new toys because Stop falling in love with the new toys just because you want to crap on players that it didn't work out. Right? But anyway, man, with that being said, man, it's all about the you, man. I'm out. Like, share, subscribe. Check me and Chuck and Chubby out today. 5:30 Central Standard Time, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to talk a little football today. Tune in to the round table. We're going to go on, I guess. I don't know the time yet, right? I'll have it figured out later, but we'll be on Sunday. And I think that's it. I'm not making any guest appearances anywhere. So with that being said, man, like I said, man, like, share, subscribe, comment as always. It's all about the you. I'm out. Peace.